Hi, welcome. Today we're going to look at the difficulty that you may have with making decisions. Now, sometimes it just feels impossible to choose a particular direction because you've got so many directions you could go. Or, you don't have a sense of which direction to go in because you have a very big need to be certain. To understand that if you make this choice, you're going to be guaranteed a good outcome. And you're not sure about your ability to choose the right thing. You question yourself. You don't have any examples. The life that you thought you would have at this moment isn't actually the life that you're living. And you don't quite understand how you got here. And so you're stuck in kind of a paralysis and you don't make any forward movements. And you try to tell yourself that you should see the positive things and you should just start choosing. But then you don't seem to choose, either because, you have a fear. I mean, you believe that. Logically speaking, right? You believe that there will be good things that come your way. But the only example that you have right in front of you is the life that you wanted that you're not currently living. And you're in kind of a grief or a mourning for that life. You still want it. There's an attachment to it. You don't want to let it go. You don't want to move forward. You don't actually like what you're in right now, but you don't really see how to get out of it, how to change it or shift it. You don't really believe that it can be different and that you can make it different. And so the thing that you most want, you're pretty sure it's never going to happen. And so even though there's lots of different directions, you didn't choose right last time, so what's to guarantee you'll choose right this time? And you only want to choose the thing that gets you back to the life that you wanted. And so between the fear of missing out on something, if you choose this, then you won't be able to choose that. That black and white thinking. And between the need to be right and to know that this time you're going to get it right because last time you didn't, and you feel sadness and grief about that. And then, feeling like you have to choose between parts of yourself because it kind of looks like if you have that, you can't also have this. And then with that feeling that it doesn't really feel like it's going to happen, you then don't make any decisions. You try to pep talk yourself into it, but there's a lot of internal resistance that comes up and you find yourself again and again self-sabotaging, unable to move forward and staying stuck. And focusing a lot on negative outcomes, how it didn't work out for other people, how that could be you, and that's your greatest fear, that you'll be 95 and alone and nobody to take care of you and nobody to be with. Well, that is very real, and that feels very stuck. But there are some things that you can do starting today that will shift how you make decisions. And instead of making no decision at all or making a fear-based decision, which kind of is no decision at all, you can start to make values-based decisions. But first, you have to do a few things. Okay, the first thing that you have to do is reduce your stress response. Because what this will do is every time you think about having to choose and not being able to choose right, and if you do choose right, you still have to give up this thing, and you're not sure that you want to give it up. And you're not sure that you're going to have a good outcome because you didn't have one last time. So you can bring yourself into the moment. You can reduce the stress response that this will start. So you start thinking about what decision you have to make. And how do you choose? Do you go for a master's? Do you do this relationship? Do you make that move? Do you make a career change? And you're unable to make a choice. And the minute that you start thinking about it, your blood pressure spikes, your breathing shortens, your eyes dilate. A lot of these things are unnoticed, right? They're just physiological changes that you don't even in the moment see. And so you might notice that your hands start sweating or something like that, but you don't notice the invisible things like that increase in blood pressure. You just maybe notice a little more tension or you feel a little stressed about it. What you can do is reduce that stress in order to make it easier to make a decision. So you can practice mindfulness techniques. You can practice breathing techniques. I won't go into either of those here because there's lots of resources out there. So I'm not going to give you anything amazingly new. But go and Google those. First step, reduce that stress response. Notice that you're in it. Second step is to shift from the black and white thinking. You're thinking that you have to get it right. You're thinking that if you choose one thing, you won't get to choose another. You're thinking if you choose this thing, it's forever. It's for the rest of your life. There's never going to be any opportunity to do it differently, to shift that trajectory that you're creating for yourself. Black and white thinking will make it absolutely impossible for you to step forward. So you can shift from black and white thinking to consciously, intentionally, every time black and white thinking comes up, flagging it, saying, hey, actually, choosing this doesn't mean, choosing this career path does not mean I won't be a mother. Choosing this relationship doesn't mean that I will never have, whatever it is that you're looking for in the relationship. Choosing to travel abroad does not mean you won't have a relationship with your family. Whatever the thing is that you're telling yourself, the only thing that's true about it is that A, you don't know what the future holds because you can't predict it, and change is certain. Those are the only two certainties in life, right? So remind yourself of those and then shift your thinking. Unwrite the black and white either or to a maybe and. So that's all you have to do is either I get this or that, and so I'm not going to be able to make a decision. Okay, you'd shift it to maybe I'll push open this door because if that arises, I could do X and then maybe later. So it's only a maybe and. That's all you have to do is pause, recognize the either or, the black and white thinking, and shift it. It isn't the rest of your life. How many examples can you point to of people who were certain that they were going to do X for the rest of their life and were shocked that 3 years later, their life had literally inversed? It didn't look anything like it had before. At any point in time, you have the choice to inverse your life. Life might actually do it for you. So you never know what's coming, so stop the black and white thinking. And then the third thing you can do to make a values-based decision instead of a fear-based decision is get quiet. Get quiet and listen to yourself. I resisted meditation for so many years. And now I don't really understand why, except that I was trying to do it right. So give yourself grace. There's no right way to do it. It doesn't have to be meditation. It can be prayer. It can be a walk in the woods. It can be whatever allows you to hear stillness, just to hear quiet, to learn to listen to yourself, to the universe, because the universe is sending you messages every single day. And I know there are some of you who will think, oh, that's so woo-woo. But the universe does. It taps you on the shoulder very gently, and it gives you lessons that you need to learn. And until you learn them, it will continue to give you those. They just get increasingly harder. And so then later they become a whack with a 2x4. I know because that's my personal experience. I'm a hard-headed learner. So once you learn to get quiet, then is when you can bring things like your intuition. You can understand what you need in the situation. You can understand which way you're just kind of leaning. And then get curious. Because what getting quiet does is give us space to bring out our fears. It gives us space to bring out all the ways that we feel, which are not bad. They are always good. All emotions, negative emotions too, are always good because they are messages from your body. They are messages that tell you what you need in the situation. You just have to be able to bring the emotion up and keep it small enough and quiet enough that you can see what's hiding behind it. And it will be that message of what you need and what you really want. But a lot of us try to drown out the messages, right? You get a message of irritation and you just think, oh, I shouldn't be irritated. And so then you ignore it, you push it to the side, you invalidate it, and you try to move forward, banging your head against the wall, right? And so you never hear the message. And then, of course, the decision never gets any easier. You still don't know which direction to go. So get quiet, find a space. Your thoughts do not have to be erased from your mind. They come, they go, you see them. The only thing you have to learn to do is continually hone your focus. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Which in some ways is like the black and white thinking and the self-efficacy part of this, which is you don't believe you can really make it different and then it's gonna be different. In both of those cases, just like in this getting quiet meditation piece, you're honing your focus, you're bringing it back repeatedly, deliberately, intentionally. It's a choice. Just like going to the gym is. You decide you're going to lose weight. You decide you're going to get in shape, and you go to the gym. You just open the front door and you walk out. This thinking works the same way. All you have to do is make a decision. And then every time your mind goes to black and white thinking, every time you start thinking negatively, I can't do this, you pause. You think, I don't know that. The only thing that's certain is that I don't know. And then you choose to shift, to get quiet, to stop the black and white thinking, and to focus on positive things. And then you will find yourself much closer to being able to make a values-based decision. The only other piece you will need is to know what your values are and to be able to name them in order, boom, off the top of your head. And there are lots of different tools out there that you can start using to figure out what those values are. But if you want a partner who will help you kind of work through this process and figure out what those fears are, in order to help you be able to make clear, considered, focused decisions, call me. If you want to work through those values and figure out what are the top 3 priorities that I have and how do they function in my life, how can I use them as a lens to make values-based and not fear-based decisions, then call me. The link is in my bio. Have a great day.